G'day, I'm Warwick Schiller and welcome back to another episode of the Principles of Training. I'm Warwick Schiller and welcome back to another episode of the Principles of Training. In this episode, I want to talk about how a lot of times people tend to think that their horse is being bad because they won't do a certain thing, but it's not that the horse doesn't want to do that thing, it's the fact he's got other things on his mind. And if you can get rid of their ideas first, if you can change their mind about their ideas, then you can make your idea a whole lot easier. And in this episode, I'm going to use my off-the-track thoroughbred ringer, and when I get on him, I want him to walk. I'm going to get on him over here in the arena, and I want him to walk in a perfectly straight line going that way, and I don't want his feet to go to the left or the right. When I ask him to do that, his feet go left and right, and I'm trying to get him to go perfectly where I want him to go, and it's a bit of a mess. And so then we'll go ahead and I'll show you how I'd go about changing his mind about wanting to be a certain place. Then we'll come back and show you how easy it is to get to walk forward when we get rid of his other agenda. Now I just want to tell you, I'm riding him in a little rope hackamore. It's a soft cotton rope hackamore, in case you can't quite see it and wonder if it's some sort of crazy headgear. It's not really, it's just a very soft kangaroo braided noseband on it that's real soft, and the rest of it's just soft cotton. Okay, so I think I want to walk that way. So I'm going to say we want to walk directly this way. Nope, this way. Nope, this way. I want to walk that way. I'm trying to... No, not over there, not over there. Come on. So you can see right here, there's all sorts of problems going on, and we've all seen someone having that wrestle with a horse, and we all tend to blame the horse. Bad horse, nasty horse, he's trying to put it over us, he's ignorant, we have all these nasty terms for that. But I think that's trying to tell a horse where to go before a horse tells me where he'd like to go. So instead of trying to make him go in a certain direction right there, what I want to do right now is just ask him to walk and see where he wants to go. And so I was asking him to head on that line right there. He's heading off on this line right here. Now, he lives in a pasture out here. Okay, that's his place he would want to be over there, and that appears to be where he wants to go. And you see he's walking nice and forward. Okay, so he's walking nice and forward. What happens when he gets closer to his home? Does he slow down? Right here he slows down a little bit. He's looking out through the fence. He's getting a little bit, he's not slowing completely down, but he's looking out through the fence, and right about here he slows down, and then he's going to turn, and where's he going to go now? Back over to this fence. So what he's telling us is he would like to be here more than anywhere else. So I just let him walk around here, and I'm really looking to find out the place where he wants to be the most, because I'm going to pick up the trot in the place he wants to be the most. And so I'm just going to let him walk around here and kind of show me if there's a pattern of where he goes to, because the pattern of where he goes to really tells me where he wants to be the most, and it seems to be he's heading back down in this corner here. So what I wouldn't do is ask him to trot now, because he's heading in the direction I think I'd like to shape his behavior to go to. Okay? So he's already heading over here. See, now because I've just let him walk around over there, now he's like, oh, maybe I'll explore over here a little bit. So I'm almost halfway across the arena right now, and right then I just heard him, or felt him, take a big sigh. So I'm not going to ask him to trot here, because this is kind of where I'm trying to encourage him to be. So when he just right then he slowed, and if you look right here, see he's trying to stop. So he's looking for a stop. So instead of going, get up, why do you want to stop? I'm like, And a big sigh. He just went, very valuable information. He's telling me, even though I'm an off-the-track thoroughbred, I would really like to find a place to rest. Okay, so I'm not going to let him rest here, but he's looking for a place to rest. So when he comes back over here closer to this fence like this, right now I'm going to decide to pick up a trot. And you might notice, immediately, I'm much further over here than I was before. I might just sit and see if he wants to walk. There we go. So if he wants to stop, he can stop here. So I am a good 30 feet further than my furthest tracks before. So I've done this exercise with him quite a bit. But you can see right then, I stayed there long enough till he was really consistent about being on this side of the arena. He says, I really would like to be over here. And he tried to stop over there, actually let him stop. Then I chose where I picked up that trot. And as soon as I picked up the trot, he's like, oh, okay, this is where the work is. There's got to be somewhere else where I can have the rest. And so if you noticed, he was kind of looking at this side of the arena like he was a little bit concerned about it. Instead of pointing him over here, pulling and kicking him, making him come over and sniff the banners or whatever it is he's concerned about, I let him go over there, but that's when I asked him to trot. So I'm going to ask him to walk now. And I'm going to be very picky about where I choose to have him go for a trot. And I'm going to be picky about where I choose to let him come down a gear or come to a stop. Like right now, do you see what he just did? Very cool. He just circled around right then and said, the stop's over here somewhere. And so you can really shape a horse's behavior and where they actually go to just by choosing where you choose to pick up something as simple as a trot. And I only did it once, but I've done this exercise with him quite a bit. I'm going to let him sit here a minute. Okay, so I've let him sit here for a minute. I'm just going to ask him to walk. And what I'm looking at to see where he goes to, and immediately turns and heads back over here. Okay? Oh, does he? See, he went to head over to this fence and then he went, oh, maybe. So we're cruising over here. And see right there, he just avoided that fence. He went, hang on, I'd rather stay to walk. Ringer was a slow off-the-track thoroughbred, okay? He had 7 races and won and never won. He must have placed a couple of times because he won $423 or something like that. But if you can see these tracks out here, see he's immediately come back over. There's my high tide mark, and I am now closer to that fence he was a little concerned about than he was before. And what's he want to do? Once again, he says, I'd like to stop over here. So this is one way I really help horses get over, say, the scary end of the side of the arena. But what I don't do is make him walk over there and then ask him to stand there, because he won't. He would want to leave. I get to the point to where he's looking for a place to rest, and that didn't take very long with him, and then I allow him to rest in the... You'd like to try to find the line to where on this side of the line he's completely comfortable, and that's the start of uncomfortable, more uncomfortable, completely uncomfortable. And you want to be just on this side of the line where you rest. And then after a while, this will become comfortable. If you look right here, if you see right there, there's that little circle on the ground of his footsteps right there. If you can see those footsteps right there, that little circle on the ground right there is the last place we had a rest. I am now further over this way than I was before. Okay, so that place there was not his comfort zone when I first started. Then I got that to be his comfort zone. Now this is his comfort zone. So I've let him rest here a minute. I'm gonna ask him to walk. And he points back over here again. What I'm gonna start to do, instead of having the trot just up against that fence, I'm gonna start to have the trot area bigger and bigger. The more that trot area gets bigger, the more that resting place will head over that way. And I'm not trying to get him over there. All I'm doing right now is explaining what's going on with him this morning. I mean, work with the horse you have today means get on and work with what's going on. And I got on, I tried to do that straight line. He was all over the place. So then I said, where do you want to go? He went over there. Now, you can see these footsteps are my high tide mark. There's my high tide mark. I am now even closer to the scary side of the arena, and he has a stop here. So like a minute ago, I said I want to get slightly over the line out of his complete comfort zone, and he goes over that line slightly into the very slightly uncomfortable. That line right there, which is probably 15 feet from me, maybe, probably 3 or 4 meters from me, that was the last place I stopped. We walked over there. He didn't go to that side of the fence where his pasture's over there, turned and came straight back over here. And I do this quite a bit with him, but you can see how easily it is to influence these horses. If you can show them that there is a place they can rest out here. You know, a lot of times horses only get to rest once you've finished your riding session. You ride them over to the gate and put them away, and what that causes to tend them to do is think there is no rest for me out here, so their mind is always on that gate over there. So I'm just going to ask him to walk, and once again he heads back over here. Now I'm not expecting him to go, what's going to happen right here, is he going to circle around? I'm not expecting him to go over there and stop. That is not my intention. Now you see right here, he is walking in a place he has not walked so far. Okay, he's come over this way a little bit. And you might notice when I first rode him, everything was centered from here over to there. I picked up the trot once. Now he's come over here again, so I'm just going to pick up the trot again. And where does he go to? So, and keep trotting him. And I'm going to sit here. So, and he's coming back again. So when I sat there, and he said, no, I want to go back over here. So I didn't, when he started heading back this way, when he started thinking back this way, I didn't sit. I said, okay, keep walking. Now when I get over here, I'm going to pick up a trot again. He heads over this way, and so you can see there's no footprints right here. So I'm now as far over, and he tried to stop. Sorry, I was talking, I missed the opportunity. He is now as far over there as he's been. So right then he tried to find a place to rest, and I said no. So he might not go back over there. Yeah, here he goes. So he's heading over here, and you see there's fresh footprints right there. I mean, there's no footprints here, so I'm going to just sit. But with this particular horse, you might notice he turned and thought back this way. When I sat, he was facing that way. Then he slowed down and turned back this way, so I'm not going to let him rest. I want him resting, thinking that way. I don't want him resting over there, wishing he could be over here, if that makes sense. So then I pick up the trot again, let him trot around a bit. I offer him a stop over there, but he turns towards the camera both times I stop instead of staying there. And so he's heading back over here, and right here I'm going to sit. And if you draw a line parallel to that fence, his head is on this side of that line, so he's still thinking this way. He didn't circle back over there. So you can see how you can really, here's a big sigh, what a good boy. You can see how you can really influence these horses, like I said, just by where you trot, where you rest. You know, walking's kind of in the middle, trotting's harder, resting's easier. And the whole, this kind of falls under the principle of make the wrong thing hard and the right thing easy. And it's not about hard and easy, it's about easier, okay? One thing's easier than the other. If you are, let's say he kept doing this, okay, and kept going over there, I wouldn't be picking up the trot there anymore. I'd pick up the canter there and I'd let him trot over here, okay? So it's just trotting's easier than cantering, walking's easier than trotting, stopping's easier than walking. It's not that, it's not that when he's trotting around, he's thinking, oh my God, I'm being tortured. This guy's really nasty to me because he's making me trot. It's just there's something easier than the trot. It's not that the trot's bad. A lot of time at clinics, I will have people, when I'm explaining, wrong thing hard, right thing easy thing, I'll have everybody stand up and I'll say, okay, does anybody here think standing up is hard? Like, would you go, oh my God, it's hard to stand up? And they all say no, and I go, okay, go ahead and sit down. So everybody sits down. I go, would everybody here now say that sitting down is easier than standing up? And they'll go, yeah. I go, good. So it's just a comparison. It's not that when you're making the wrong thing hard and the right thing easy, the wrong thing is just harder than the right thing. It doesn't mean it's hard. No one when they were standing up was like, oh my goodness, I'm standing up, this is terrible. But when they sat down, they said, well, this is easier than standing up. And then I said to him, if you had to fly to Australia, which is about a 14-hour flight, would you rather sit up in coach or would you rather lay down in business class? And everybody's like, rather lay down in business class. So now sitting up's hard and laying down's easy. Whereas a minute ago, sitting down was easy because it's a comparison between the sitting down and the standing up. What a good boy. So you can see these tracks. We drugged the arena here before we started, so you can see these. But right now I am as far over this way as I've been, and I haven't told him to come here. I've just chosen where I asked him to go and where I didn't ask him to go. So now I'm going. So we go for a bit of a walk around here. Once again, see, he doesn't come over to this side of the arena. He's staying over there. So I pick up a trot, see where he wants to go to, and then we'll pick up a canter down here. I'm just going to go for a little bit of a canter here. And right now I'm further over than I've been before. So as soon as I picked up the canter, he went straight over there. So then we go for another canter around the whole arena like this. You can see his tracks are starting to cover the whole arena. Like right here, I might just sit and let him come to a stop. You've got to get it in your head that it's not about conquering the horse and getting him to go over there, okay? It's about having them balanced to where they're comfortable all over the place. And in the beginning, he thought that fence was the place he wanted to be the most. So I just used where I picked up the trot to help change that a little bit. But what I didn't do, the thing I don't have in my mind, so this is the work with the horse you have today thing, this is the human factor, is it's not I have to get him over up against that fence. If he doesn't go over up against that fence, I have failed. So now that he's starting to use the whole arena, I'll show you how much I've got him to where he's controlling himself and he's controlling where he's going. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take the bridle off, hanging on the horn. I'm just going to ride him around with no bridle on. And the big thing is I'm not trying to show you a wall I can ride with no bridle on. I just want to show you that I am not controlling where he goes, and he's pretty much using the whole arena on his own. Riding bridleless, and the difference is I can't steer him with anything on his head, okay? This is not bridleless riding as in I can ride him around bridleless and steer him. All this is what I'd like these horses to do when I ride them around. For me, one of my basics is I'd like to get these horses to where when I ride them around, it's like I'm not on their back. Okay, so this is not about I'm a great rider and I can use my seat to control my horse. For me, I don't think I'm that good a rider to be able to do that. What my whole purpose with training horses and helping horses be the better version of themselves is to get to where when I'm riding them, they ride around the same as they would if I was not on their back. Okay, so it's not about me controlling them, it's about them controlling them. And I think once you get to where I can get them to control themselves, and they use the whole arena like we're working on here, then I think come on, mister. Then I think I find it's easy to start to train them to do stuff then. But if they have a desire to be over there or not go over here, or they're worried, they can't control themselves with you on their back, that means there's a level of anxiety just about you being on their back. And so everything you try to teach them will have a level of anxiety. I'll just go for a trot here. So he goes for a trot, trots around, kind of goes up the other end of the arena, comes back over, staying off this side of the fence, using the other side of the arena. Then I go for a bit of a canter, he canters around, and then I can just come back and sit here in a minute. I'll sit and he'll come back to a stop. Energy in my seat to keep him going. That tells me if I was to remove that energy, he would come back and stop. So after we stop there, then I put the bridle back on, and I'm going to go back over to the mounting block and hop back on and try to show you, ask him to do exactly the same thing that he couldn't do when we first started out this session. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to see if I can get him to walk here in this straight line. I remember when I first got on and I was trying to get him to go right here, and he was going, no, 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 I don't want to go there. And see, right now I can ride him in a perfectly straight line. And so if you think about the horse he was when I got on, he would not do that. He flatly refused to do that. And it almost looked like he was going to have a fit and rear up. And that's where we can say this horse is bad and he's nasty and he's whatever. Because he had a bit of an agenda right there. He's not being nasty. He's not trying to put it over you. He's like, I would feel more comfortable in a certain place and I don't feel comfortable going in the place you want me to go to. And the certain place he wanted to be was along that fence, wasn't it? Okay, and after a while he moved a bit further out, then he moved a bit further out, and eventually ended up over there where those footprints are. But this place I was trying to ride him to right here is now included in his comfort zone. When I first started out, it wasn't part of his comfort zone, and he was like, I really can't do that because I would feel better if I went somewhere else. And so what I did with him was allowed him to explore, allowed him to you know, tell me where he wanted to be, and then I just used where I picked up the trot in order to help change that. And then I come back to exactly the same spot, and instead of being a bad horse who looks like he wants to do nasty things, he's like, yeah, I can walk along there. So that's, you know, that's just a little bit of an idea about changing your perception about a horse being bad or not wanting to or saying no or whatever. There's a reason they say no, and it's a very valid reason. Horses lack that huge neocortex, that frontal lobe that we have, so they don't have the ability to plan against us and scheme and do all sorts of those sorts of things. Horses are actually very, very honest about how they feel. And so right then, when I first got on him, he was honest about, I can't be here. I said, okay, well, where would you feel comfortable? And then I just used where I trotted to help change that, change his perspective, and now that straight line works perfectly well. Hopefully watching that session there can kind of change your perspective about when you think your horse is saying no. They may not be saying no, they may actually be giving you valuable information that there are other places I would rather be. And if you can really let those horses explore those other options and maybe make them a little bit more work there, then your horse can really start looking at, hey, what would you like to do? Where would you like to go? So hopefully that helps you out a little bit. Join us next time. We'll do another episode of The Principles of Training.